So what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. And a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes. Lana. Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you for too long for questioning. She was in prison anyway. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So how'd it go? It's as Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? We agreed that if I told them the truth behind the simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. But Lana, don't tell me you. Much to my regret. I am as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Skye. We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belonged to Officer Jake Marshall. What kind of trace evidence? Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. You know, nothing incriminating. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall. We have to play the cards we're dealt, isn't that right, Miss Skye? I like how they say that as if we know that Marshall isn't innocent and we're just throwing him under the bus, when we have no reason to believe it's anyone else after finding that. But do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. Again, it's gonna be Gant, but... Judge, court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is... I'm afraid you'll have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared. Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Gee, I wonder if the body could have been transported from one spot to the other. Wow, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In doing so, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. Ah, yes. And that's supposed to be an admirable trait. I think having confidence is an admirable trait, yes. Very well, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand. For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer, if that is his real name? Oh boy. Things are getting wild from the get-go. Wow, we're calling the suspect. That's crazy, dude. Will the witness please state his name and occupation? Yes, sir. I'm Officer Mike Meekins, sir. My occupation is, that would be murderer, sir. Ah, so you're telling us you're a professional killer? Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it, sir. I'll never kill anyone again, sir. You have to believe me, sir. Actually, what we'd like to hear from you, sir. I'm what you would call part of the younger generation, sir. A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend. "22? Come on." Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me, sir. Officer Meekins. Yes, sir. Give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order.
Yes, sir, as you wish. After all, I am part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir.
I begrudge this. You can't fault him for lack of enthusiasm.
Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life, then
well, this is not what you told me.
After that I passed out, until another officer smacked me awake.
You didn't tell me you fought for your life. What are you talking about?
So, the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you. Do unto others before they do unto you. That's what the Meekins family motto, sir. I see. Then you fainted and a colleague helped you regain consciousness. Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination.
What I need here is more to work with. Well, I'm going for the fought for my life part first. What exactly do you mean when you say you did it?
I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir.
Oh, fuck. Oh, God, no.
The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him.
This is not at all what you told me. You took his knife?
I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man.
See.
The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood, and then the next thing I knew, yes, he punched me right in my face, sir.
Well, this sounds like a very different recounting to what you told me, but whatever. Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not?
Yes, sir. I'm in charge of hiring new recruits, sir.
Yikes, now there's a scary thought. Evidence transferals was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed.
I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir. The Blue Badger? Yes, sir, the lovely police mascot created by the Chief of Detectives, sir. I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission for the day, sir. I see. Sounds like a very, important mission. After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room.
Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room. Tell us, what did you see when you got there? In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct?
Precisely, sir. I have one right around my neck, sir.
So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right?
There it is. I found it. This is the one right here. Could you please read us the number? Yes, sir. It's 4989596.
Which one's that? Fuck, we have a lot of evidence. You. Yes, okay, so you were this one. Oh no, wait. You're here twice. Oh, one must be when you took the Blue Badger in there? Yes, I guess. So that's when you took the Blue Badger in, and that's when you went in to look for, you know, the alleged... So he's actually on there twice. I see. But the number is shown as being used twice. Please explain, witness.
It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room.
See, I'm a genius.
And the second time is when I went to get him after everything settled down. I see. So it was during that second time when... Yes, sir, that was when I was spotted the man on the security screen. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked.
So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you?
It was a knife, sir, a knife. Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you. What happened then? Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was.
You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into.
That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. That's when I got this gash on my hand.
Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be.
When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar.
This was quite the altercation you had, isn't it? About what time did you regain consciousness?
No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious.
Oh, right. According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30.
He hit me right in the head, too. I woke up crying tears of pain. That's nice. I mean, it's nice that you recovered, that is. When I came round, so, I made sure to finish my mission, sir.
Your mission?
Yes, sir, the Blue Badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand.
Well, we can all rest easy now.
I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened.
Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point.
Yes, Officer Meekins? With regard to that, sir. Take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir.
The chief? Delivered it?
What is that? A videotape? Yes, sir. That's absolutely right, sir. A videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security room in the security camera in the evidence room.
What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape, and was told it had been mistakenly erased.
That's quite a mistake. I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at.
Looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever.
Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim. Oh, please stop using that word murder, sir. It scares me.
You said your profession was murderer a minute ago. A video of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My immersion is already shattered. No way a security camera would look this good. That looks like a skull. Okay, right, yeah. Can't see the face, naturally. Okay. Dropped something. Having a little peek-see. Sneaky, sneaky. That's the blood where the jacket Lana was wearing was. So we never saw them leave. Interesting. We also never saw anybody actually touch the locker that had blood on it.
Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us?
What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood?
Sir, that is the pride and joy of the entire Criminal Affairs Department, sir. It's the Blue Badger, sir.
Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly?
Yes, well, anyway, this tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter, someone in the evidence room and some sort of, activity.
Your Honor, instead of relying on a clearly incomplete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that all right with you, Officer Meekins?
Yes, sir, as you wish, sir.
But the tape has some issues I'm having, where it didn't answer several questions. What was the piece of paper he dropped? Why didn't we see him leave? Why didn't we see anybody touch either of the lockers that had blood on them?
His face can't be clearly seen in the video, sir. But there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir.
We never saw his face.
I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do.
I guess that's true, but we didn't see... No. Not necessarily. Because something fell out of the locker. What if the thing that fell out of the locker was being used to keep it open? Because if it fell out the second he opened it, it seems to imply that it was, like, right in front of, or, like, on the door. Because we do have to... Because, look, it's obviously not Goodman, is it? Otherwise they would have just let us see the face. So they must have had some way to get around the lock, and since something fell out, it seems as if it should have been that holding it open. Although I'm pretty sure it's Gant. Maybe Gant just has, like, administrator access.
The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. What's this about a fingerprint?
Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to.
Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have had to have been Detective Goodman. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination.
I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. So, what I actually want to home in on here is this bit. About these lockers, is there no other way to open them?
No, sir, I myself tried all kinds of methods in the past.
Which says something suspicious about you, I think.
They only respond to registered fingerprints, sir.
I wonder what kind of methods he tried.
If the man opened the locker, which only responds to its registered fingerprints, then he must have been the person the locker was assigned to. Exactly my point, sir. And this too.
How do you know that information?
I've heard rumors, sir, from people in the know, sir.
People in the know?
The workers in the apartment cafeteria, sir. They keep me informed. They also listen to my romantic troubles, sir.
For the record, the opened locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable source.
So the victim opened the locker with his own fingerprint.
However, the most important detail is not shown in this video. The man's face.
Sir, if I may say something, sir. Please do. After all, you are the one being examined. I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir.
Yes, of course. I can see why this would have no bearing. I can understand your confusion. Why would it matter who was murdered?
I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. And it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir. My unsettled state can testify enough of this, sir. Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie.
That is... unless the defense can find a problem with it. Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again. Is there a problem with the security tape? There's a problem. Regarding the video contained on this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange.
Strange?
This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman.
What? This video contains such a contradiction.
Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal.
Yes, Mr. Edgeworth?
I propose we have the defense point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video. He would want me to point it out.
Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction.
I have to point out a problem in the video? This is the first time I've ever had to do that.
You can do it, Mr. Wright.
It's set up so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing.
Please don't play it too many times, sir. I can't stand watching this video.
How did this guy become a police officer?
Where is the contradiction?
Fast forward. Oh, God. Right here. Okay, back it up a little bit, because I want to click on that. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this.
Yes, that is strange. Something certainly seems unnatural about that.
You telling me this is wrong? You seem to have forgotten the point of this exercise. The point? What you're looking for is one thing and one thing only. Something that indicates this man may not be Detective Goodman. Oh yeah, but I mean, that's what I'm pointing at.
I almost walked right into the defense's trap. I'll place him under arrest, sir.
Okay. Play the video again. So, yeah. So maybe just click on the bit where he's opening the locker rather than the thing falling out of the locker. Wait. Back it up. I spotted the actual problem. This light's on. None of the others are? Surely that means this locker is open. It's got to be this. Officer Meekins.
Sir, do you mean me, sir?
As I understand, the locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, the sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match, the light turns on and the lock is released.
According to my very limited experiences, that's the way I understand it, sir.
As far as I'm concerned, the thing I pointed at should have led to this same conclusion, but whatever. If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. You're really gonna do this, huh? You're really gonna make us watch the whole thing up to that point, huh? When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind to a little earlier. Oh. 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 Here, notice the light?
What's this? It's already lit.
Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle.
Ah! Order. What's the meaning of this?
It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked.
Oh, I know, it must have broken down. Of course I'm no expert in this.
That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction.
Oh, well, just goes to show novices should just keep their mouth shut. So then, Mr. Wright, you have an explanation.
Me, Your Honor?
Yes, why wasn't the locker locked?
Me, Your Honor? Well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? I already know why. Something was pushed in to prevent it from locking. Maybe something like jammed the system sensor? Something jammed the sensor, say. There's a piece of something else that seems out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so too. There's gotta be another clue somewhere in this footage.
Very well, let's inspect the video once more. The locker wasn't...
Oh god, there he goes. Alright, now it's definitely gotta be the thing falling out. That bad boy. Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier. No... At least it's not playing the fucking Blue Badger theme, but still. Why do you have to... I already watched it. I had to point it out. Why do you want me to play it again? I had to watch the video to point it out.
What's this? Something white fell out from the locker.
Apparently you didn't see this.
But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when the doors are opened. I often fall and roll great distances when I open my car.
What? We can't be sure that item was completely inside the locker to begin with.
What do you mean?
The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door?
Inserted?
Now, the thing here, though, is that means Goodman still has to have opened the locker earlier. Because either way, Goodman's fingerprint was needed to open this. So, Goodman left it open for some reason? This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor.
Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing, my tie chokes me. But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door.
Yeah, it's obviously a piece of paper, you guys. Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. Oh, it's the thin rubber glove. Oh, that's why it says extremely thin. It would need to be an insulator.
Ah, yes, an insulator, but at the crime scene,
there just might have been something that fits the description.
But sir, by insulator you don't mean...
I think I finally got this figured out. Well, I don't know, let's not get carried away. We know, like, why it was unlocked, but we haven't figured out much else.
Will the defense present the relevant information?
It was this extremely thin rubber glove. I found this near the locker, a thin rubber glove.
But we can't be sure that was in the victim's locker.
Its tag says SL9 incident. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Meekins?
Sir, it would appear so, sir. Order, order, order. So, are we to believe then that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman?
Do not be misled, Your Honor.
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
The defense has merely demonstrated that possibility and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. What? Officer Meekins, please testify about this.
Sir. Me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh, you mean that, sir. Of course, sir.
Is this a joke?
Very well, begin your testimony. There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. An ID card record, I see.
I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 5:14 is that of the victim.
Just before the crime, Yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there so few people using this room?
This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. Wait, involving police staff? What does that mean exactly? Does that mean that a police staff was murdered, or a police staff was the murderer? Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleared up by noon.
Right, I see. Now let's move on to the cross-examination.
Well, obviously just, like, whoever did it stole the fucking ID. But how do we get to that point? Doesn't seem much point pressing on the first one. But it might be one of those deals where you press on everything. So, unlike your earlier testimony, you believe this to be rock solid, do you?
Yes, sir. Solid as stone, sir. If my hand wasn't wrapped in bandages, I'd even give a V for victory sign, sir.
Couldn't he just use his right hand for that?
Let's hear him out fully. Let him cook, let him cook. As we've seen, one never knows what he might say until the very last second.
Is that the card hanging from the neck of one of the... Is that card hanging from your neck one of these ID cards?
Yes, sir. This card right next to my cuffs, sir. I keep it here so I won't ever forget it.
But what if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that?
Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. Maybe, remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck when I get out of my car? Well, the remaining time it's my ID card that gets stuck. Instead of the door closing, my ID card chokes me.
Maybe I should just leave this one alone. At any rate, each police officer only has one ID card. Both the police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this.
Please proceed with your testimony.
I don't know what I was doing there. Let it be noted that this is the record the witness referred to.
Let me see that. Yes, that would be it, Detective Goodman.
What's the matter?
According to this, Mr. Edgeworth, your name is on here.
So it is, Your Honor.
Not that prosecutor again. Maybe he's behind all this. Be it a prosecutor, he could hide the evidence.
Mommy, is that man in blue a murderer? Shh, don't stare at him.
You got the wrong color, kid.
It would seem the inquiry committee will want to speak with you again today.
I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue with this cross-examination. Poor Mr. Edgeworth, it must be so difficult for him. Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you.
Yes, sir. He didn't show me any ID cards, sir.
Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife.
Maybe he just panicked.
Everything stems from contradictions, let's point them out. Okay. It's not like Edgeworth to miss something like this. Okay, that's a weird way to go. Okay, so I've got it already. Do you think it's the fact that the card was at the prosecutor's office? That'd be a timeline thing. No, surely not. Oh. Ah. Oh. Goodman lost something. Yes. Wait 1 minute, Officer Meekins.
I'm not good at waiting, sir.
I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene.
That makes sense.
But when I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene, the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card.
A lost item report. It's only half completed.
But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess, you believe this something to be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure, but there is a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card.
Order, order. So now, what does this all mean?
It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card.
Order, order, order. Does the prosecution have a response?
I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo. Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are 2 grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes. What's he up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is... well, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't going well, to end well. Well, well, it seems you finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove.
Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth.
The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place. At the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime.
So?
So the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot. At the prosecutor's office, the murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon.
Ah.
I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning.
The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered, and where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman.
Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else, Lana. What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? Let's object. One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. What are you talking about? This cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. Okay. Wait, has that appeared? However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. Can I watch the tape right now? Not that, please. Please go back. What I want to know is, was that thing in the locker was not there. So the murderer definitely left. We just couldn't see him leave. Probably because he went behind the Blue Badger. Because the thing that's hanging out of the first locker is not there at the start. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter.
Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, Your Honor.
If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand. Mr. Wright, do you mean... Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness.
Oh? Who do you have in mind?
Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution requests to hear this person's name, before deciding whether or not to comply.
Very well, Mr. Wright. What is his or her name?
I mean, you know, what a mystery, right? Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? I can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare.
Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time?
We will, Your Honor.
Court is now in recess.
Well, that was surprisingly easy. There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? Huh? What do you mean? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you figured everything out. I haven't figured anything out. Lana, you're the only one who... You're the one who knows everything. Emma, you always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me? Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run around while on duty. And to top it off, you called me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Sorry, Detective. You better be, pal. Hey. I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky. That's okay. So have you brought what I asked? Oh, ho ho, oh ho ho, oh ho ho, oh ho 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 ho. You mean this, right? My apologies, Detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request. My name? Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy. The SL9 incident? But Lana, I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, you might do well to read them. Can't believe you're the chief prosecutor were a witness in that case. Miss Sky was a witness? Well, let's have a little peek-see at the records. We have so much fucking evidence, dude. Perpetrator, Joe Dark. Okay. Crime, serial murder, sentence, death. Victims, Edward Jones, Jason Knight, Edith Kirby, Rachel Moss, Jeb Bates, Neil Marshall. I see. I can see why this will be relevant. Prosecutor, Miles Edgeworth. Witnesses, Emma Sky? Investigators, Damon Gant, Lana Sky. Head investigator, Bruce Goodman. I see. Well, you know, I feel like that's going to be relevant in the near future. Emmer, what the fuck did you say? Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murders. Oh, what, now that I've brought you your stuff, you're just going to ignore me? Emma, but why is your name in here? What, my name's in there? I don't know, unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana, this SL9 incident, is that... That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dark killings. The Joe Dark? No, Lana. That's over with. No. Emma, wait. She ran away. You know what? I just remembered I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here. Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gann, Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. I better take a good look at this file. Wow. Well, you know. Sure does seem like literally everybody in the fucking police station's involved in this SL9 incident, huh?